the story would have to be even bigger than the first one. But let's be real. If Charlie Hunnam, who played William Ironhead Miller, is not only returning but also heavily involved in making the sequel happen, then chances are it's actually moving forward. So here's everything we know so far. After years of nothing but silence about a possible sequel, Triple Frontier 2 finally has a major update that suggests it could actually be happening. Charlie Hunnam, who played William Ironhead Miller in the first film, is now deeply involved in the project. He recently shared that while the sequel is still in its absolute infancy, he's taken on the role of the main producer at Netflix for the potential follow-up. Now, that doesn't guarantee the movie is officially greenlit, but it's definitely a promising sign. With Hunnam stepping up as a producer, it's pretty safe to assume he'll be returning to the cast as well. That would help keep some continuity between the first and second films, which is always important for a sequel. But one of the biggest challenges for Triple Frontier 2 is getting the whole gang back together. The original cast, featuring big names like Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaac, Pedro Pascal, and Garrett Hedlund, was a huge draw for the first movie. And speaking of Pascal, his career has skyrocketed since Triple Frontier came out. He's now a household name thanks to The Mandalorian and The Last of Us. And he's even stepping into the Marvel Universe as Mr. Fantastic in the upcoming Fantastic Four. So, while his star power would be a huge boost for the sequel, his packed schedule could make it tough to lock him in. Still, Hunnam's involvement is a big deal. Having a lead actor pushing for the project makes it much more likely to happen. If Netflix sees enough demand, and the first movie's recent resurgence in the Netflix top 10 suggests that audiences are still interested, then Triple Frontier 2 might just become a reality sooner rather than later. Even though Triple Frontier had a pretty solid ending, it still left just enough room for another adventure with the remaining crew. That's why fans have been wondering for years, will we ever get a Triple Frontier 2? The original film, which dropped on Netflix in 2019, followed a group of longtime friends and ex-soldiers who put their mercenary skills to the test for one last mission. Their target, a powerful South American drug lord. With a star-studded cast and some intense action sequences, Triple Frontier felt like a major step for Netflix as a serious player in the action movie space. Critics gave the film a decent amount of praise, especially for its cast, who helped elevate what could have been just another run-of-the-mill action flick, according to Rotten Tomatoes. But while the ending wrapped things up in a way that felt satisfying, it didn't completely shut the door on a possible sequel. In the world of action movies, if there's even a small chance of continuing the story, it's usually on the table. The problem? In the years since Triple Frontier premiered, there hasn't been much talk about a sequel, until now. Charlie Hunnam recently gave fans something to be excited about by confirming that a follow-up is at least being discussed. He revealed that he's now a producer on Triple Frontier 2, which means he's not just returning as his character, William Ironhead Miller. He's also actively involved in making the movie happen. But while this is definitely an exciting update, Netflix still hasn't officially given the green light. The project is in its early stages, so there's a long way to go before cameras start rolling. That said, the fact that Hunnam is willing to talk about it publicly is a positive sign. It shows he has confidence in the sequel eventually becoming a reality. As for who else might return, Hunnam is the only confirmed name so far, but there's a good chance some of the other surviving characters from the first film could be back. However, one key player who won't be making a comeback is Ben Affleck's Redfly, since his character met his end in Triple Frontier. That leaves an open spot for another major star to join the cast. And if the sequel does happen, Netflix might bring in another big name to fill that gap. So, while Triple Frontier 2 isn't officially happening just yet, Hunnam's involvement gives the project some real momentum. And considering the first film recently resurfaced in Netflix's top 10, there's proof that audiences are still interested. If the sequel can pull the right cast together and deliver an even bigger story, there's a real chance it could become a reality sooner rather than later. For Triple Frontier 2 to really work, the story needs to go even bigger than before. The first mission was supposed to be their grand finale, their last chance at scoring big before walking away from that life for good. But with Redfly gone and the rest of the crew barely making it out alive, what could possibly convince them to jump back into the fire? It would have to be something huge something personal, something with real stakes. If the sequel follows the same heist formula, it could center around a mission that feels less like a payday and more like a necessity. Maybe the team discovers that some of the money they left behind in the jungle has resurfaced, and they have to retrieve it before it falls into the wrong hands. Or perhaps they're pulled back in because of a betrayal. Someone they trusted has flipped on them, and now they need to settle the score while also securing a new fortune. Whatever the case, the heist would need to be more dangerous than before, forcing them into a situation that tests their loyalty, their skills, and their moral compass. One way Triple Frontier 2 could raise the stakes is by introducing a new, unpredictable wildcard character. Since Ben Affleck's Redfly won't be returning, the team could either bring in a new member, maybe an old friend from their past, or face off against an enemy just as skilled as they are. Imagine a rival group of mercenaries trying to pull off the same heist, or a government agency hunting them down before they can complete their mission. There's also room for a personal angle. Maybe one of them is forced into this job because someone they care about is in danger. A second Triple Frontier movie could take things in an exciting new direction by introducing a female lead. And someone like Ana de Armas would be a perfect fit. She's already proven she can handle high-stakes action with roles in No Time to Die and The Gray Man. So seeing her step into this world alongside the returning cast would add a fresh dynamic. Her character could bring a new angle to the story. Maybe she's a highly skilled operative with her own agenda, forcing the team to either work with her or compete against her. She could be the one who pulls them back into the game, revealing that the money they lost in the first film is now tied to something much bigger, like a larger conspiracy or a dangerous cartel. Or maybe she's an old connection to one of the surviving crew members, someone with unfinished business that needs their expertise. A female lead would also shake up the group's dynamic. The first film focused heavily on brotherhood and loyalty, but adding a strong female presence could introduce new layers of tension and trust issues. Maybe she's just as skilled as they are, if not more, but they don't know if they can fully trust her. She could even be a former CIA operative or a mercenary with a grudge, someone who's been tracking them ever since the events of the first film. There's also the possibility of romance, though the movie wouldn't necessarily need to go down that route. Instead, it could focus on respect. Maybe she's the only one who truly understands the cost of the job, challenging the group to rethink their approach. She could serve as a reminder that they aren't invincible and that every mission comes with consequences. With Ana de Armas or another strong female lead stepping in, Triple Frontier 2 could explore new perspectives while still delivering the intense action and moral dilemmas that made the first movie stand out. Whether she's an ally, a rival, or something in between, her presence would make the sequel feel fresh and unpredictable. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.